2E in the linear unit is about parallel lines. Parallel lines, what we're going to ask students to be able to do with this concept is write equations of a line that contain a given point and is parallel to a different given line. So we have to know how to write equations and know about parallel lines to master this teak. Now, what this is really saying is that we're going to give students information like this. The slope of the blue line is 2. Rise of 2, run of 1. And we know the red line goes through the point -1, -4. Immediately write the equation of the red line. It's not going to give you the slope of the red line all the time, but we know that parallel lines have the same slope because they have the same incline or the same steepness on this graph. So the number representing their slope has to be the same, which then makes these questions really easy. Again, we know all of these equations are going to come back to haunt us. A lot of times you're going to be given information to write them in these two forms, slope-intercept and point-slope. Just use the same slope if they're parallel and write the line. So for example, it says what is the equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through the point 5, -2 and is parallel to the line represented by y equals 2/5 x plus 2. There's a lot of things we have to know to get this part right, but they're all itty-bitty pieces that we've already talked about. We know that our end goal is slope-intercept form, which means we end goal want to write it in y equals mx plus b. We also know that it needs to go through the point 5, -2 and be parallel to this equation. Parallel means they have the same slope. The slope for the equation that's given is 2/5, which means the slope that I want to use is 2/5. And the point I want to use is 5, -2. I then have a point and a slope that's parallel, same slope, that I need to plug into my point slope formula. Y minus y1, m times m minus x1, x minus x1. Plug the pieces in where they belong. We would have y minus y1. y1 is a -2, so I'm going to subtract -2, equal to m x minus x1. Negative times negative, or a minus a negative, is really just adding 2. Okay, now none of my answer choices are in point slope form, so I have to remember how to distribute and create a slope-intercept form equation. But if we want to look at these answer choices really quick, we know it has to be parallel to this line right here, which means it has to have the same slope. Is that the same slope? No. Is that the same slope? Definitely not. These two, however, have the right slope. We just need to make sure they are the right line. So let's go ahead and distribute so we can find our y-intercept here. We would do 2/5 times x and 2/5 times -5. 2/5 times x is 2/5 x, and 2/5 times -5 is a -2. Isolate the y by subtracting 2 from both sides, inverse operations. And I'd get 2/5 x minus 4, which means that C is the answer of the line that's parallel to the given line but goes through a different point. Exactly what the teak is asking for us to do. Number one thing you have to remember, parallel lines have the same slope. We empower, we impact, we love. We are Skeeter Nation.